Welcome back, everyone. Well, the story behind America's most notorious outlaws is often misconstrued. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow, also known as Bonnie and Clyde, certainly weren't your average couple. Their relationship stemmed from violence, things like armed robberies, thefts, and even murders.
That's right. In this morning's edition of Gas Tank Getaways, Local 33's TC Muzinga traveled to Gibsland, Louisiana. Not only did she find the exact location of where the young couple was killed during an ambush by law enforcement, but she also discovered a museum dedicated to them as well. Take a look.
Clyde Barrow's mania, his guns, spiked at last by the law.
May 23, 1934.
Two machine rifles.
It was a time when America confronted an economic meltdown and also witnessed the end of a 2-year crime spree committed by America's infamous outlaws. No one knew why Bonnie and Clyde swept parts of the country with these senseless crimes, but they were in love, dangerously in love.
They set eyes on each other. He made her a cup of hot chocolate, and after that they were inseparable.
Perry Carver is the owner of the Bonnie and Clyde Ambush Museum. He says Clyde already had a history with the law before meeting his future love and partner in crime.
Clyde went to prison for a couple of years for burglary and car theft, and when we say car theft, he wasn't stealing cars to sell them, he was joyriding.
After being released, more problems. Clyde was accused of murder, not once or twice. It happened almost every time.
Clyde's name got brought up. They blamed Clyde for it, and he told his daddy, "I ain't going back to prison."
His flaws weren't an issue for Bonnie. She loved Clyde and promised to stay by his side no matter what.
And the 25 months they were on the run, she lived a living hell. She was burned up in a car wreck in Wellington, Texas. 30% of her body was burnt, but her right leg was burnt to the bone.
She never recovered from that, but she still lived up to her promises. After several murders, robberies, abductions, and prison sentences, they finally reached Louisiana. In fact, they ate right here, but they never knew what would happen several miles down the road.
And the morning they killed him, they were basically ready to go.
On this long stretch of Highway 154 in North Louisiana is where law enforcement officials shot and killed Bonnie and Clyde back in 1934. It's about 7 miles away from the Ambush Museum. It happened in broad daylight. A posse of Texas officers shot up their car to put an end to a tragic love story.
Pretty interesting there. TC Muzinga says the Bonnie and Clyde Ambush Museum may be a long drive from here, but it's worth it. I just did a little research because, I mean, do y'all know where Gibsland is? Do y'all know where it is?
Where?
Gibsland is
Actually, I do.
It is. Yeah, no, it's in North Louisiana, right outside of Minden, so it's about 4 hours from here. But as TC mentioned, you can get there in a gas tank.
That's right. A little quick vacay, or some cool history to learn about the area.
Well, speaking of Minden, I passed by that on the way here. That's why my leg is about to go out.
You passed Minden this morning on your way to work?
No. Yesterday around about noon or so, I was making my way back from some haze with all that dust to the west. But to the east, we're going to see some rain chances moving in. We're talking about the rainfall details coming out in 2 minutes and some change as I rest my leg.